Hi, and welcome today to the webinar for the University of Leeds Masters in Data Science and Statistics. I'll be hosting today. My name is Matthew Fewtrell. I am one of the enrolment counsellors with Coursera, and we'll be joined today by two members of the University of Leeds, Dr. Stuart Barber, who is a senior lecturer, and Dr. Graham Murphy, who's a senior teaching fellow. I'll be running through the main proportion of the webinar today, and there'll be a short Q&A in the middle, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end with Stuart and Graham. So welcome today. There is a Q&A box, so if you do have any questions, please do ask them, and we will answer as much as we can. And thank you for joining. So the run through for today, as I've just said, we'll do a program overview. We'll talk through the application process. We'll go through the key dates for the course, and then we'll have the Q&A. So this course is a brand new course, and it is broken down into 12 modules with one project. It's 100% online. It will, although the course is run by the University of Leeds, it will be 100% online, run through the Coursera platform, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. It's self-paced and flexible. What we mean by that is that although we do have live sessions, there's no time particularly that you will have to be online every week. So with the ability to study all over the world and different time zones, we keep this to make it flexible so that you can study at a time that's convenient to yourself. We are very aware that everyone has busy work lives and family lives and other commitments. So the course is designed with the flexibility being online, that you don't have to be on campus at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday every single week. With this course, as long as you commit to 20 hours of study per week, then you have the ability to complete the course within 2 to 4 years. So how the course works. The course is comprised of these 12 modules, and they're designed to be taken within a carousel, and each carousel can be taken in any order. There's no formal prerequisites to students to have studied, and the only thing is you have to complete each carousel before moving on to the second one and then on to the third one. So in the foundation course or modules, you'll be studying exploratory data analysis, statistical methods, programming for data science. Then once you've continued past those 3 modules, you'll move on to the intermediate, which would be machine learning, linear modeling, project skills, statistical learning, data science, and multivariate methods. And then once you've completed those 6 modules, you'd move into the advanced modules of statistical computing, Bayesian statistics, and then the project. And there's also an orientation which needs to be completed before the start of the course. So what you'll be learning. We've just run through the modules, but as previously said, the first module you'll be studying will be exploratory data analysis. In that module, you'll be summarizing and visualizing data to identify features and select statistical models. You'll move from there into statistical theory and methods, where you'll be using unified theory, a method of estimation and hypothesis testing with interpretation of results. And then the third one will be programming for data science. You'll learn to produce simple computer-based applications for a range of sectors and develop and integrate systems using artificial intelligence and data analysis techniques. In Carousel 2, you'll have the project skills, where you'll be planning, reviewing methodologies and presenting outputs for ethical considerations. Machine learning, where you'll look at algorithmic approaches to identifying patterns and statistical regularities in data without human intervention for decision-making. Multivariate methods, where you'll be introducing basic techniques for multivariable statistics. You'll learn to discover patterns and describe exploit dependencies between variables and complex data sets. Then you'll move to linear modeling, where you'll predict variables using their linear regression modules. Learning about variable selections, tests, and diagnostics. You'll also explore extensions of linear modeling to deal with more complex data sets. You'll look at statistical learning. From stock markets to automated vehicles, statistical learning is at the heart of modern life. You'll learn the fundamental concepts of statistical learning and the use of several key statistical models widely employed in research and industry. And then the last module will be data science. This course will provide you with an understanding of the work of data scientists, how to solve and communicate data problems, how to acquire data, how to investigate quality, and the statistical underpinnings of artificial intelligence and data science. As I've said, I have said that you'll be doing these, and I have given them a basic order. That's how they sit within our in a list. But once again, there is no route through these. You can take the carousel in any order as long as you move on. And then carousel 3 will be statistical computing, using computers for mathematics and statistics to analyze large data sets with the Monte Carlo methods. Bayesian statistics, where you'll be introduced to the Bayesian approach for statistical inference and decision-making, covering both philosophical and computarizational aspects of Bayesian's approach. And then last of all, the project, where you'll put into practice your new key knowledge and key skills in areas that may include AI, health informatics, urban analytics, statistical and mathematical methods, and visualization and immersive techniques and technologies. And those courses will make up the masters. Now, as for the admissions route, there are 2 admissions routes into this course. There's the standard entry route and the non-standard entry route. To enter via the standard entry route, you would need a first or second class upper degree, which would need to be containing substantial mathematical and statistical components. In the American GPA system, it would be a 3.2 GPA or above on a 4-point scale. And in any other country that you are looking at, we can convert them. So if you do submit an application and you're unsure about where you sit within that, then please do call us and we can talk through the application. There's also the non-standard entry route, where we would look for a UK second class lower degree. Once again, it would still have to be in a subject containing a substantial amount of maths, but we'd also look for a minimum of 3 years of work experience in a role which has substantial use of statistics. And when we say substantial maths, we are looking for not one module in statistics within a sort of business degree. We would be looking for multiple maths modules covering statistics, linear algebra, calculus, further mathematics, higher mathematics, and any sort of maths related course. As well as the admissions for the degree you have, you'd also need to meet an English language proficiency. You'll need to have GCSE English language skills at grade 4, which is a grade C or above, or another appropriate English language qualification. This can include the IELTS with an overall score of 6.5, with no less than 6 in any competency. But there are other ways to enter and other language tests that we do have. If you look on the website, where there is more information on this. Or once again, please contact your enrolment counsellor and we can talk through your maths proficiency and English proficiency. So the programme structure. The programme length is anywhere between 2 and 4 years. And as I previously said, it's self-paced and flexible. So each module is 8 weeks long and will consist of 150 hours of study, which is where we get the 20 hours a week for. Now, unlike most sort of campus-based courses where you would complete them in a year, and it's a very strict 1-year process, with this course, we give you 2 years as a minimum, but we give you up to 4 years. We are aware that when you're studying alongside a full-time job, other things come up, other projects, promotions, and sideways moves or upward moves to other companies. So due to that, if there is any period where you don't want to be studying, you can sit modules out and then come back at a later date, which is why it's not a strict 2-year or a 4-year program. It can be studied anywhere between those two. As well as that, there are 3 awards available. So you don't have to complete all of the modules to gain certification. If you complete 4 modules and gain 60 credits, you'd qualify for the postgrad certificate. 8 modules, which is 120 credits, you would graduate for the postgrad diploma. And if you complete all 11 modules and the project, which would be 180 credits, you would gain the full master's qualification. Of course, you can join the course to do the postgrad certificate. If the master's is not what you were looking for, or the postgrad diploma, you can also enter to gain the qualification that you desire. It isn't all or nothing, and they don't have to be just because you didn't reach the end. Each course is worth 15 credits, and you need to complete, as I say, 180 credits for the full master's. And then when you're studying, there will be live webinars and tutor support. The live sessions are once a week, and they will be held at the same time. There'll be 1 hour live sessions, but they will be recorded and they aren't mandatory to attend. And you will be able to pre-submit questions. So if you aren't able to attend them due to work or time zones, then you can always come back, watch them repeatedly at another time. And also, because you can pre-submit questions, it does mean that you can take part even if you aren't able to attend live. And as for the costing of the course costs £15,000. This can be paid in modular payments of £1,250. And also, as it's paid module by module, it can be split anywhere between the 2 and 4 years. So if you study over 2 years, you would split the cost over those 2 years. But if you study over 4, you can pay over 4, as it is in a pay-as-you-go model. And it is paid directly to the University of Leeds via the student portal online. So it isn't paid to Coursera. This is a payment made directly to the University of Leeds. Or if you are being sponsored or paying by a loan, there is more information on this. And there are other company sponsorships that can be paid, and you can qualify for the student loan if you are based in the UK, and different loans within other countries. Obviously, the £15,000 is paid in British pounds, and if you are a student from another country, you will be paying with the exchange rate. So obviously the module payments are £1,250 in British pounds, but over the course of 4 years, depending on what the exchange rate's doing, the cost of the course may go up and down. So for this course, who would be the ideal candidate? So we would look for people who have previously completed an undergraduate degree program in a quantitative subject. So as I've said, we would be looking for maths, physics, statistics, economics with a large maths basis. We would be looking for engineering and technology and computer science degrees, but also all of those with large maths. So just because you have an engineering degree, depending on the field of engineering, doesn't automatically qualify you. But we would be looking for people to show substantial elements of maths and statistics. So we'd be looking for science, technology, engineering, and STEM fields. If you have prior knowledge of data science and statistics that you can build on and study this degree to master's level. And once again, whether you've recently earned your bachelor's degree or earned your undergraduate certificate and you've been working within a relevant field, then this course could be for you. So we're going to have a short Q&A now. We probably won't answer everything, just because if it may be covered in the second half of the course or of the webinar. But let's just have a little look at the Q&A questions and see what's arisen. One thing I would say is that sometimes in the webinar, we do get very sort of specific questions about people saying, can I apply from this country? I've got these grades, anything like that. We're probably unlikely to answer something quite specific. So at the end, there is a booking link to book in some time with an enrollment counsellor. So anything that's specific to you, please do ask question, but also follow up, and we'll answer that one-to-one. Is there any tutoring for people that aren't that good at maths and such? So there are, as we say, there's live sessions, and there's we have some questions being answered on student support later. So that question is going to be covered within the webinar, Benjamin, but that will be covered near at the end when we cover student support. Is the program appropriate for people who already have some knowledge or proficiency in some aspects of the field? We would look for people to have some proficiency within the field. It is a bachelor's in statistics as well as data science. So if you don't have proficiency within the field, I would say that the course is probably not the right course for you if you aren't so strong within maths and statistics. Do I get a hard copy of the certificate and transcript on completion? Once again, we will cover this, but yes, you will get a hard copy of your certificate and transcript, as well as we do hold a live, as well as an online graduation ceremony. So you are very welcome to come to the UK to attend that. There's quite a few questions coming in, and we've got a lot to cover. So unless there's anything particular that Graham or Stuart want to answer, we can leave everything else for the end.
No, thanks, Matt, for picking some of those out. As you say, what we're about to discuss, hopefully will cover some of the questions. And if people can follow up with your advisors on the specifics, that's really great.
Perfect. And please keep your questions coming in, and we'll answer as much as we can. But as Graham said, we will cover quite a lot of what's been asked. So if we haven't answered it, it's because it's likely to be answered in the second half of the webinar. So the application process. The application, there's a link at the top here, which will be shared in the chat for the Coursera website. At the top of the Coursera website, there is an Apply Now button. This will take you through to the University of Leeds website, and all the information on the application will also be there. But there's also all the information on the course on the Coursera website. So what you need for the application is a copy of your ID. This is very important. It's not something that's requested within the application form, but it is required. And if you don't submit your ID when you submit your application, it will be requested before they can make the offer of a place. And all this will mean is that you have to have emails back and forth with the team at the University of Leeds, and that will slow down the process of you getting made your offer. So when you do submit your application, please do make sure you attach your ID, just so we can get your offer out to you as quickly as possible. We would also have a supporting statement, which is a personal statement, a scanned copy of your academic transcripts and of your academic certificates. So you don't have to send physical copies to us. Scans will do, but once again, please make sure they are full scans, that we can see all of the grades on them. We can see the school what was awarded to you. Often we get sort of poor copies, and one side of the certificate is, or one side of the transcripts is cut off. If we can't read it fully, once again, a better copy will be requested. Copy of your resume, and then as well as that, your English language proficiency and any professional certificates. So if you are doing the sort of lower entry pathway because you've got a second class lower degree, please do attach any professional certificates, especially then, because that will help us look at you as an all-round student and help make the decision on what you know about the course. So any professional certificates also please attach to your application. And it's free to apply, and we are open now for applications for our 2024 January intake. So when you sign into the portal, the first page you will come to will be basic information. We'll need your first and last name, email address, date of birth, and then for signing back in, passwords and security questions. And then that will take you through to the application portal. There are all these boxes down the left-hand side, and you do need to fill all of them out. So personal details, address details, academic qualifications, English language, professional qualifications, work experience, and all of the rest. Now, some of this you may think you have filled out. So with sort of academic qualifications, you might think that it's all on your CV. So you might not think you need to input it. It does all need to be completed. So even if you think we have the information on a different piece of paper that you've attached, then please still submit it onto the form, because we need it on the forms. And then the registration process once it's completed, and the next steps. So once you've completed your application, it normally takes around 10 working days for us to get an answer back to you. Once again, if there's anything we need requesting, that will hold the process up, and it's 10 working days from when we have a fully completed application. So if we go back to you with the request for ID or for a better copy of your transcript, the 10 days would start again from when you've submitted that to us. So although we say 10 working days, it can take, if you don't get documents to us, it can take a month or more for this to be an offer going out, because we still need further documentation to make the offer. But once you do have the offer, you'll need to log into the student portal and click the accept button. And then after you've accepted the course, register for your modules. The applications will be closing on the 3rd of December. And once you've completed that and received your offer, you'll have access to your first modules on the 8th of January. Before that, you will get access to the orientation, which you will need to complete, and there will be program policies for you to read through as well. Now, as previously asked about receiving your degree certificate, once you've completed all 180 credits, you'll be awarded by the University of Leeds. Once again, Coursera are the learning platform, but the course is delivered by the University of Leeds. And that's why they are the awarding body. Coursera aren't mentioned on the certificate. It would be the same certificate as if you're one of the campus students at the University of Leeds, and the graduation ceremony will be held in Leeds as well. So you'll be able to go to campus if you are able to make it across. Alternatively, we will be doing an online graduation, which you are able to attend if you can't come to the UK. And if you can't come to the UK and you cannot attend, you will receive a physical copy, which we will get to you by the mail. So it's not a printout or anything like that. You do need, for the graduation, the physical certificate with the stamp and seal on and everything else. And so we will send out the full physical copy by mail. So once again, the key dates for the course. So the applications are now open. They'll be closing on the 5th of December, and then the acceptance and payment deadline will be December the 15th. So please do make sure that you are able to make the first payment by the 15th of December, and then the classes will start on the 8th of January. So once again, if we can introduce Dr. Stuart Barber and Dr. Graham Murphy back with us, we will answer some questions. We do have some pre-submitted questions which we will run through first, and then if there's time at the end, we will answer any further questions that we have in the Q&A. So the first question we have is, what is the final project? Is there a practical element to it? And how many words is it?
Thanks, Matt. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, the final project element on this program is interesting. It's slightly different from other programs that you'll see out there. The project module in this course is a single module, so it's 1/12 of the course, and that's accompanied by a preparatory module. And that means that the projects that you'll be doing, the typical output isn't going to be a long report of many, many thousands of words. It's more likely to be a portfolio style output with several smaller linked pieces of output that could be a presentation that you've done with a bit of code and a small report perhaps. And it can be quite dependent on what the project is. We'll be drawing project titles from a wide array of different disciplines. And so it's kind of, it's hard to say that the how many words question probably won't apply so much to these projects, but they probably will have practical elements, and the types of things that you'd be doing could be quite different across the projects.
Wonderful. What programming languages will be taught? Do students need any prior knowledge?
So on prior knowledge, I think any prior knowledge that you've got will help you. But the two programming languages that you're going to encounter are R, so that's statistical software, and Python. Now, you may have heard of Python and perhaps not have heard of R. But for both of those, we won't necessarily assume that you've seen very much at all. In the induction material, we'll try to get you up and running, so doing the very first steps of both R and Python. And we have the Programming for Data Science module, which is teaching you to program in Python. We don't have a module dedicated to R, but we'll have a coordinated approach of building up your knowledge gradually as the program proceeds. So you'll gradually be building your expertise there. And when it comes to later modules, it may well be the case that you might want to choose how you're going to do the work. It might be best to do some of your project work in Python. It might be best to do it in R, or you may have a choice in some places.
Thank you. What student support will be offered, and how much access do learners have to tutors and lecturers?
Yeah, that's a good one. I suppose you would split that into two different types of access. So when you're part of a course and you're learning, say on the exploratory data analysis module, then you'll have a webinar session every week where the class gets together with the module leader to go through some of the content of the course. Outside of that, you'll have access to the module leader and any tutors that are on that module through things like forums and discussion boards, where you'll be able to post and get answers from the module leader, or indeed from other learners on the course. So we'll have an online community aspect there within each module. But outside of that as well, you'll be allocated a personal tutor with more of a pastoral role, so that they might not be a person who can answer technical questions on the module that you're doing right now, but they might be able to give you kind of general study guidance and point you in the right direction for various bits and pieces.
Oh, wonderful. So it does sound like there's a lot of support from a lot of different angles, which is nice to hear.
Hopefully students will feel that, yes.
So how are the modules graded, and what formats do the assessments take?
So a typical module would have two parts to the assessment. One part that takes place while you're learning, so it's in the middle of the module usually, and it would be a smaller assessment. And the major part of assessment of the module comes after you've done the learning. So once you've learned everything you need to learn on Bayesian statistics, for example, then at the end of the course there'll be an assignment to complete, testing you across most of the content that you might have seen in that module. Stuart, do you want to say something about what they might look like in the elements of an assignment?
So there could be various different things coming in. There could be effectively written, typed work, mathematical exercises, but mainly exercises around data analysis and interpretation, some coding exercises, and later in the larger assignments, obviously the scale becomes bigger, but it's still the theme really of the key aspect is the data analysis and interpretation. And then everything else is really around tools that you will use in order to be able to carry out those tasks.
Ah, perfect. From your experience, what are some of the positives for students outside of the UK choosing the MSc from Leeds?
So I think the University of Leeds, so we'll probably start with talking about the university in general and then think a little bit more about the School of Maths and LIDA and things. But the university is part of what's called the Russell Group of UK universities. So that's a group of research intensive universities. And at the last Research Excellence Framework exercise that takes place in the UK, that was in 2021, 90% of the research from the university was rated as world leading. If you kind of bring that down to the School of Mathematics, then 98% of our outputs were in that category. So we like to think we are a leading institution. Recently, we've been given the QS ranking of 75 across world universities, which we're quite proud of. And the other thing about Leeds is we have scale in terms of number of learners, which means that we have good resources to support them. And there are a number of different parts of the university where data scientists are working. They may not call themselves that, but they might be people working in medicine who are heavily into data analytics, or indeed in earth and environmental science. And this program, either directly or indirectly, feeds off all of those different channels through things like the projects that we offer, and some of the flavors that you might see in the module. So I think it's a combination of, we like to think we're a leading institution, and we know that we've got expertise in these areas.
Brilliant. And also, I believe you have quite an active alumni outside of sort of across the world as well. So even
and a global network of alumni that as well as being an academic member of staff, I am also an alumni, and it is, I think, a fairly active network of people all over the world doing all sorts of different things.
So how are the modules graded and what formats do the assessments take?
I suppose that's linked a little bit to what we talked about before with the mid-module and the end of module assessment. Typically, the end of module assessment will count for most of your mark. The mid-module assessments will count for a smaller proportion, but they're designed to be done kind of more quickly on your part and assessed more quickly on our part, so that you can check how you're doing and also earn some credit in the module. The grading could be a combination of your tutors grading work that you submit, or some of it could be auto-assessed where that makes sense. And the benefit of that is that you get virtually instant feedback on what you've been doing. The longer assignments at the end, because as Stuart described, they can have quite a lot of different facets. They'll take a bit longer. They tend to be a bit more involve the tutors a bit more in exactly what's being assessed then.
And from your experience, what are some of the positives for students? Sorry, if I just come back. Sorry, I think I've lost my place.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, that's a new one. But that's a good one as well. That links back a little bit to how we describe the project structure. So how could you show a project to a potential employer? I think showing a potential employer a 10,000 word report, which might be the output of other projects, is you might be able to show them the title and describe the content of the report, but it might be unlikely that they read it all. Whereas if you've got a portfolio of smaller outputs, it's probably easier to present to someone. They'll more quickly be able to see exactly what you've done and what the value of that was. So by having that slightly different style of project, I would hope that it probably would be more easy to present to someone who's interested in just exactly what you did in that part of the program.
And what do you think is the best feature of the program?
Do you want to have a go at that one, Stuart?
Yeah, sorry, my internet is telling me it's unstable, but hopefully you can hear me. So for me, the best feature is that it's a blend. It's a blend of theory and practice, or maybe a better way of thinking about that, a blend of how to do the data analysis and why it works that way. And with the better understanding of why we do data analysis in the way that we do, that gives you a deeper understanding, and it makes you a better data analyst at the end of the day. And to me, what I like about the program really is that we try to blend both ends, if you like, of that spectrum.
Perfect. And how do data science and statistics marry together on the degree? And why is having a statistical component important?
I suppose we've got, you could notionally divide some of the content of the course up into two sets of modules. Matt, you explained very well the three carousels, and there's reason that we've chosen that particular structure. But that idea that Stuart touched on of having a kind of core of data science modules, typical topics that you would see there, but then leading you on to that more kind of statistical understanding and looking at some more kind of advanced topics in statistics. I think that's the marriage that we're looking for, a kind of firm base of a range of topics that are in statistics and data science, but then taking you down a more specialized path. And that's what leads to the that practical skill to implement a method, but beyond that, the understanding to know that the method is sound and to be able to compare it to other methods based on the particular data that you're working on, which is a little bit different than just being asked to run a particular analysis on a data set and seeing some outputs.
And if you had to call out the top 3 most important skills for someone graduating with this degree and what they'll gain, what would they be?
I would probably say that we hope that we would increase your technical skills by giving you a wider range of a base of knowledge, especially within statistics, but that we're also looking to give you that ability to analyze and compare and contrast different types of analysis or different methodologies, and then communicate that to someone else, and so that you can either make a decision yourself and present that to someone, or you can assist in strategic decision making in a number of contexts. That's what professional data scientists and statisticians are doing. So it's technical skills, the ability to compare and contrast different techniques, and then to communicate that effectively.
And I'd agree. I think the most important thing about a lot of people doing online education is that they are looking to, they're either in work and looking to move across into a new field. So although they're doing sort of large academics, they are doing it alongside work, because the work implementation, I think, is a lot more important for a lot of students than sort of the academic side. And I think with a course like this, the fact that you marry those two really nicely, where you have the academics, but also the practical elements that can be implemented into work, why degrees like this are so valuable.
Yeah, and I hope that we enable people to take that next step where you're not just performing the analysis for others, you're starting to be able to shape the decisions that are made on the back of the analysis from a position of sound understanding.
And that would bring us to our last question, which is, what careers would you expect graduates to go into on completion of this course?
As you said, Matt, a lot of the people on the call will already be in careers, and for this program, I always find it's quite a difficult question to answer, because the skill set is needed in such a range of places. If you look at our other programs that we run in Leeds in this area, we tend to see that healthcare, the retail sector, the financial sector, and government services are big areas that people will move into for employment. Some of the people on the call may already be in those areas and looking to either stay there or to switch. But the skill set that we've just described is in demand in a number of places, and my understanding certainly is that demand is increasing for the skill set. So hopefully you're going to be well placed to go in a number of different directions, or just progress in the field that you're in if you're already where you want to be, but just take the next step.
Thank you. So that's all the questions that we have sort of preloaded. We have got a couple of questions in the Q&A, but on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a QR code. For all those sort of person-specific questions, as I said previously, things like, do my qualifications meet the requirements? English language certificates, do we take this? Anything like that, that's sort of, or country-specific about, can I study this from my country? Please click the little dinosaur. That will book in a meeting with myself, and I will be able to do some one-on-one sessions with you and answer any sort of further questions you have. So please do scan the link, or if you just would like to talk about the course in more detail, or if there's anything we've raised today that you'd like me to go through, then please do click the QR code and book in some time with me this week or next week. Okay. So I'm going to read out some questions, and if Graham or Stuart would like to jump in and answer them, then please do. And if you don't answer them, then I will try and answer them myself. So, tutoring we've covered. Are jobs in this field likely to be taken over with AI soon?
That's an interesting question. We don't know, but I think we're exactly trying to give you a skill set that you would be on the side of understanding how to use AI tools in performing a data analysis rather than reacting to a tool you should hopefully be the person who's driving what the AI is doing for you from a position of understanding what is a sensible answer from an AI. We don't always see sensible answers from developing artificial intelligence. I have seen some creative examples from current students, shall we say. Any thoughts on that one, Stuart?
No, very much. It's the human creative aspect and understanding how to mix tools, how to use tools that is, in a sense, part of keeping a step ahead of what the computer can do unaided. And then that's the sort of domain within which we're trying to develop skills for a program like this one.
Thank you. Are there placements on this course?
I don't think we envisage placements at the moment as part of the course, no.
So I was speaking to one of the faculty members previously, and there aren't placements on the course. The aim for that is we have students all over the world who are in different circumstances. A lot of people are already within work, so the course doesn't hold any placements within it because just logistically it's too hard to do. Some people do want placements, and if that is something that is a requirement for you, then this probably wouldn't be the right course, solely because for other people who don't want to do them because they're in full-time work, it does mean that they'd have to leave work and it could put a strain on that. So just because of flexibility in setting up placements across the globe as we have global students, it's just not a practical element for us to put into a course like this. So no, there won't be placements.
Having said that, it may be possible, and not possible probably within all projects, but if you're already working in industry and you wanted to do some relevant work to your job as part of the program, maybe there could be some projects where you can bring data or you can bring input from your employer if they were happy with that. But it would depend a lot on the project title. That probably wouldn't be the case with every project.
Just from the experience that we have with sort of equivalent on-campus programs, if you thought that that was something that might be a possibility for you, then we'd advise you speak to the faculty relatively early on, because it often takes a little while to get something like that set up.
Will students be required to do presentations on this course?
Very possibly as part of a project or a project skills module. We could very well imagine students in an environment like this where they're presenting a webinar and someone like myself or someone like Stuart is on the other side assessing that presentation. So very possibly.
Wonderful. And how flexible is this program for those who are currently employed?
I think you described this at the start, Matt. The expectations are around about, say, 20 hours of work per week. There are minimal stipulations on when you would do that work. If you wanted to try and do most of it at weekends or in evenings, that should be possible. There is some flexibility in the going through the carousels of modules as well, taking a gap, for example, taking a break if you're particularly busy at work is possible, provided you can still complete the program within 4 years. It is very much designed to work around someone who is working. We expect quite a lot of our learners will be working.
And that sort of brings on to this, I think it's the final question. So if anyone does have any other questions, please do put them into the box. But will there be any need to travel to Leeds, or can this course be done completely remotely?
The only reason to travel to Leeds would be to celebrate with us at the end of the program. hopefully in future we'll be seeing some people do that, but to complete the program, you don't need to be in Leeds at all. You can do everything online, and we would post you a certificate if needs be.
Wonderful. So we'll give it sort of one more minute just to see if any final questions come through. And if not, we can, oh, I think we had a couple come through. Sorry, these are all quite specific to certain people, so that's why I'm not reading them out.
So a more general one in there is, what's the shortest time? Well, that's 2 years if you go straight through without any gaps, which is very much designed as it's what we would expect the time frame for any part-time for that. So you can get it done that quickly if you're able to go straight through.
There's also a question about machine learning and artificial intelligence elements of the project. We will have a module on machine learning. We don't have dedicated modules to artificial intelligence, although some of the projects may be AI motivated. But artificial intelligence isn't a large element in the program. Machine learning and statistical learning, which is similar but not quite the same. There's 1 or 2 modules in there. So if you're looking for a course which is very much an artificial intelligence degree, this one is not quite that. This is more a kind of statistical data science side.
Oh, thank you. And just have a look. What software is used? Obviously, there will be the Coursera platform, which most of the course will run through. You will also have a link through that to the University of Leeds academic library as well. So I know that's not necessarily software, but with this course, all of the books and journals and documents that you would need will be supplied. I don't know if you mentioned sort of Python and R. I don't know if you know what systems will be used there. But if you do have any insights, please do let me know.
We R, for example, the Coursera Labs platform uses what most people use. They use something called R Studio, which is it's an interface for using R. If you've seen it before, you'll know what that looks like. If you've never seen it before and you don't know what R is, it essentially looks like a special type of window where you can do coding, you can see outputs, you can load in packages all in one place for R, but you'll access that through the Coursera Labs platform. And Python you'll probably access through Coursera Labs again through either Jupyter notebooks, or we'll guide you to using Python in some other in a way that you can install yourself. It depends exactly which portion of the course you're looking at. But in terms of other software, I don't think there's anything major to cover there.
I think all Coursera courses are essentially set up so that as long as you've got a relatively good laptop, doesn't have to be top of the range, doesn't have to be sort of a £3,000 MacBook, as long as you have a relatively okay laptop, it should run through the Coursera platform, and everything you need within that should be running through the Coursera platform. So I don't think there's anything particularly specialist anyone would need to buy or download or from a third party. It will all run through Coursera. I've had this question asked a couple of times, so I will answer it, even though it is quite specific to one person. I'm a 12th grade student, an aspiring data scientist student. Can you explain the field of data science? The first thing I would say is, if you're a 12th grade, this is a master's qualification. So before you would be applying for this course, you would need to be doing your bachelor's degree. So the main thing you would need to look at there is to study something within a statistical field. So if this is the course that you're interested in, I would say that when you do select your bachelor's, look for maths, statistics, computer science, but computer science with a very heavy maths element to it. And they're the sort of areas you should be focusing on. And then at the end of that, if data science and statistics is the route you would like to go down, then please do contact us, and I hope we would be the right course.
And just to add a little flavor around the edge, I mean, data science is a kind of 20 years ago, it might not have been so widely used, but it's not. Computing science and statistics might be kind of more well defined, but data science kind of amorphously spans a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things that one could be doing as a data scientist. You might be a data scientist and essentially being a professional statistician, or you might be a computer scientist, or you might be a little bit of a mix of the two, or it can cover quite a lot of different things. There are lots of great things to read on the internet if you do a little searching around on what is data science and what do data scientists do. And good luck with finding an undergraduate degree.
This one I think is aimed more at Coursera, but is this more advanced than any of the Google data analytics certificates? Yes, the certificates for Google data are just that. They're very valuable, and they hold a lot of work sort of related skills that are useful. But the difference is they are sort of certification versus a master's qualification. The Google certificates are good education, and they do take a certain amount of time to be doing, but this is a course that you'll study over 2 to 4 years with the University of Leeds, which is, as previously discussed, a world-leading institution in research. And I think that they're not really comparable because of both the work commitment that you would need to put into them and the level of skills that you would be taking out from them. Is this a course that would be significantly valued by employers? I think we've sort of covered that, but if there's anything else we can add to that.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I would agree. And I think we're once again, we're getting a couple of sort of repeats of the same question in, and I think we've answered almost everything. So unless, once again, I know I said this and then we had a flurry of questions coming in, we've got about 6 minutes left, but if no one's got any sort of final questions, we can all give you sort of 6 minutes back. So I just want to say thank you once again, Graham and Stuart. Thank you for attending, for all your answers today. Please click the QR link to book in some time with me, and I can answer any other questions that do come through. But otherwise, thank you for attending. Please do make your applications. As I think you can see from today, this is a wonderful course with lots to offer, both academically and professionally. So it has been really wonderful having you all here today, and thank you for all of your questions. And thank you, Graham and Stuart, for all of your answers and for being with us today.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks everyone for joining us.